do a live review of another of the Book of Life magazines that my dad used to get when he was a when he was a baby. Whether he got them through the post, or through the post, or he got from W. H. Smith, I don't know how. I don't know how they would. I don't know how people got them because I was only a baby back then, and babies weren't really aware of anything that's going on around them. But I've gone through all the Book of Life reviews that I've done so far, and I found that I've not done part 34 yet. The Book of Life. Marshall Cavendish Encyclopedia of the Human Mind and Body in 105 weekly parts, part 34. On the front cover, there's something to do with donors in it. Let's have a look at. Let's see what it says here, what tells you about what's on the cover. On the cover, it's half it hard to get its focus so we can. Transplant a heart and it will die unless its tissues match those of its new owner. Volunteers who hope that when they die, that their still healthy organs will help another live, may carry cards that describe their tissues. Surgeons of the future plan organ banks where hearts and lungs, livers and kidneys can be kept until they are needed. Right, let's have a look at the damage to the gift of sight. That comes under the subject of enemies of man. When injury or disease disrupts the complex mechanisms of the eye, blindness shrinks the world to objects that can be touched and noises which startle and confuse. This article tells you about the diseases that affect the eyes, the changes that lead to blindness and the treatments that restore sight. That's page 925. Windows on the World, that comes under the subject of the living body. Windows on the World, our eyes are our most valuable means of communication. They can pick out the moons of a planet Jupiter hundreds of millions of miles away, or they can guide the skilled hands of a craftsman in intricate close-up work. Built like a pair of tiny cameras, they are far more versatile than any camera. That's on the first article's on page 925 and the second article's on page 929. The Child in His World. Oh, let's get into focus. The profile of a 4-year-old. The 4-year-old has lost most of his chubby baby figure, and he is becoming quite coordinated in his movement, and he has developed a sociable nature, increasing his circle of friends, and he likes to help mum. This article explains how he was learning about the world. That's page 934. Something else about life together. Hiya. It's the Book of Life, man. Part 34 of the Book of Life magazine. I can't get it. I wish I could get into. I'll I'll read it from. Right. The fourth article in it is about comes under the subject of life together. You can get it from eBay and places like that. If you Google, try and find out from AI on your phone where you can get the magazine from. You can only get it online because it isn't published anymore. It's published from 1969 to 1970. The fourth article in it is what kind of friend. Every friendship is unique and every friend special, but there are types of friendship and most relationships fit into basic categories. Some are more healthy than others, some short-lived and lasting. Some people have lots of friends and others none at all. What kind of friend are you? Yeah, you can get it from online. People sell them online. On eBay, I got mine on eBay, I think. Right, the fifth article in it is called Seers and Believers. That comes under the topic of human mind. Who takes vision seriously? Is a visionary man or Superman? Is he owning the voice of wisdom or merely reflections of his own madness? Art and religion owe a great deal to leaders who had vision, but where do we draw the line between hallucination and reality? Seeing is believing, it seems. Yeah. The sixth article here is classified under the topic of medicine and man, and it's called spare part surgery. This year, after the first heart transplant in a human being was carried out, I saw over 100 similar operations throughout the world. Most of the organs of the body can, in theory, be transplanted if only the problem of rejection can be solved and the difficult ethical issues settled. Well, it's true, yeah. People are interesting. We meet friends. Some stay, some go, and others teach us lessons for life. Yeah, it's true. That damage to the gift of sight. I must have damage to my gift of sight because I can't get this into phone. Enemies of man, damage to the gift of sight. Man is a visual animal. He learns by seeing, but disease can attack the eyes, and doctors must use delicate techniques to restore the precious gift of sight. See, there's a George. I must have damage to my eye. I'm determined. I can't. I'll read what it says about that. I'll show you the diagram, and then I'll read what it says about it. George Bartiske, or whatever, or I don't know, a 16th century occultist, used special masks to correct squints and other visual defects. Modern doctors use the same principle. They cover up the stronger eye to force the other into activity. Surgery can adjust distorted eye muscles, but many children squint only because they are long-sighted and can be cured by wearing proper glasses. Trachoma is the most widespread cause of blindness, seriously affecting 500,000 people. A highly infective virus inflames the irids, and the irritation eventually scars the cornea and makes it opaque. If this child has trachoma, it can be cured by antibiotic treatment. Too many suffer from the disease for all to be treated, so the chances of reinfection are high. Research into new vaccines and long-term health programs aim to eradicate trachoma. See, there's diagrams there. There's the text. There's the picture. It's all full of they're all full of pictures and text. These magazines are. More pictures there. So you can. I don't need to read this text out to you. You can read it yourself. The retina, the light sensitive layer, is normally the retina, the light sensitive layer, is normally attached to the lining of the eye above left, but a blow on the eyeball or degeneration of the retina may detach it from its bed above right. An operation to replace the retina can often restore vision. Left in old age, the lens of the eye may cloud over to form a cataract, which gradually interferes with sight. If a patient cannot see at all, the lens can be removed by operation and glasses used. See, there's the diagrams there that have just. There's the diagrams there. There's more text. The object in me reviewing these magazines is not to disclose the full contents of them. It's just living body, windows on the world. To a poet, they are the windows of the soul. To everyone, the mind's windows to the outside world. The eyes are the most valuable sense organs we have. Even the most beautiful eyes may confuse certain colours, a disorder called colour blindness. The picture above left is designed to reveal red-green colour blindness. To a colourblind person, the girl appears nude. To someone with normal vision, she is wearing a bikini. Because of the colour balance of his picture, see, there. Because of the colour balance of it, it has been suggested that the painter, Turner, who painted the picture below, may have been colourblind. See, there's the picture that was painted by Turner there. Can you see it? See, there's more diagrams there. Right. So the eye operates in much the same way as a camera. But both of them have a light-sensitive screen at the back. In the camera, it consists of photographic film, while in the eye, it is the retina with its light-sensitive nerve endings. In both eye and camera, see, there's the picture of the camera there. In both eye and camera, a lens forms an image of the object being viewed on the screen. In both cases, the image is upside down. Another similarity is in the iris mechanism to control the amount of light passing through the lens. The major difference between the workings of the eye and camera is in the mechanism for focusing the image so that it is crisp. In the eye, this is done by muscles that squeeze the lens. changing the amount it bulges. This glass lens of a camera cannot bulge in this way, so focusing must be achieved by the cameraman moving the lens backwards or forwards. See, there's more. Right. There's more diagrams there. So that's visual areas of the brain. I know it looks like something else, but don't mean. Well, it's visual areas of the brain. That's what it is. Right. A cross-sectional diagram of a retina of the eye shows the two types of light-sensitive nerves, the endings. The rods give us vision only in 8 shades of grey, but they are extremely sensitive and are responsible for seeing in dim light. The cones respond to colours, but they are not so sensitive as the rods. They operate only in daylight. Rays of light have to pass through all the layers of blood vessels and nerve cells before they reach the receptors. Below left, that's a picture I've just shown you. Nerve fibres extend from the retina to the brain via a junction called the optic chiasma. This switches some of the fibres over so that nerve signals from objects on the left-hand side of the body or match the right-hand side of the brain and vice versa. There's a lot of interesting articles in these magazines, but they were published by Marshall Cavendish in 105 weekly parts from 1969 to 1970. And people do sell them online. So perhaps if you ask the question on AI, if you ask AI the question of whereabouts you can, or whereabouts you can find, you can order these magazines online, it will perhaps tell you. So we always used to have them in our house when I was a kid, but I don't know what happened to them. Whether they might have they might have all got taken down to a charity shop, or they might have just got taken down to a tip when they moved out my parents' old house. I don't know, but I did find the full set of them on eBay, and I ordered them. This one is classified under the topic "The Child in His World." Profile of the four-year-old. In a letter to a good friend, Mum tells with pride about how much Nicky, her 4-year-old, has grown up and expanded his interest during the last year. So there's a few I expect all the people responsible for producing this magazine are probably dead now, because it was produced 56 years ago. 55, 56 years ago. So more than like some of them might, one or two of them might be alive. So I don't need to read that text out to you. You can pause the. You can pause this, but pause it on your phone and just read it yourself. That's his mummy there. See, there's more photographs there. Read the text. A 4-year-old is quite sure-footed and likes to try daring feats to demonstrate his skill. Nick is beginning to enjoy playing musical instruments. His mother helps him learn how to use his fingers to make different sounds. Sometimes his musical instrument lapses into an enjoyment of pure noise making. Another favourite pastime at age 4. Nicky has just discovered that other people have needs and wants that he can be strong to. He giggles with his mother because he has made a joke. He starts to experience the fun of sharing feelings and ideas. Another article here. Once upon a time, a lion was lying asleep in the sun. He woke when he woke up when he felt something tickling his paw. He looked down and saw a rat. He lifted his paw to squash it when the rat said, "Don't kill me. I may be able to help you one day." The lion laughed, but feeling in a good mood, he let the rat go free. Some time later, caught in a hunter's net, he was roaring in despair when the rat ran up. It busily started to gnaw through the ropes until the lion was free, like La Fontaine. There's a lion there. Two old men sit on a park bench enjoying the sun and each other's company. They chat for a while and then lapse into a contented silence. There seems to be a simple and yet profound understanding between them. A young woman has lost her mother after a long illness. Distracted with grief, she phones her best friend. Within a short time, despite great inconvenience, the friend is by her side, quietly giving her strength and solace. No one seriously questions the value of friendship in human life. We need people to appreciate and love us, people on whom we can depend at times of crisis. Others who will let us be ourselves without criticism or interference. People in whom we can confide. That there are some people who do not seem to need friends, a relationship such as marriage and a family, providing all the emotional, social nourishment they require. Others would like friends, but sadly, friendship somehow evades them. But most of us enjoy at least a few good friends whom we value very highly. So, it's like I say, there's a few interesting articles in these magazines. No one. It's puzzling to me why no one watching me. Actually, I didn't. The last live stream that I did didn't do too badly with it because I think it was just a subject that was dear to a lot of people's hearts, really, the royal family. Although I think we're getting a bit tired of them, really, now, aren't we? But I think really my channel's just become old hat now. No one wants to watch it anymore. There's just there's millions and millions of channels on YouTube, and mine's just become a thing of the past now. It's I only started it. Well, I was posting videos on it before COVID, really, but the thing that really got me into it was COVID, because it was just boredom, out of boredom with nothing to do. But let's see if I can keep this review going for a whole hour. I'll just go. What I'll do, I'll go through, show you the illustrations in this Book of Life, this edition of the Book of Life. Just show you illustrations in it. Then I'll go back and review it in more detail. See, there's illustrations. Human mind, seers and believers. The visions have lent energy to religion and inspiration to art, yet they still defy definition. Are they real communications, or are they merely delusions? The conversion of Saint Eustace while hunting in the forest, his vision recurs in other saints' lives and in ancient folk tales. Just showing you illustrations there. They're interesting looking pictures, aren't they? I don't know if anyone involved in the production of this magazine is still alive at all. It's now outside the bounds of possibility, actually, because Medicine of Man, spare part surgery. See, it's easy to the illustrations need to be easy to focus on than the text. That's actually a heart. That heart transplant. See, the complicated connections which must be made during a heart transplant operation are shown here. Donor tissue is shown in green, recipient tissue in yellow. More illustrations there. That's it, basically. That's I'll go back to what I'll do. I'll go back and I'll read a bit more of the text in this, and that way I shall be able to get this up to an hour in length. At the Last Supper, Jesus placed John, the disciple whom he loved most, next to him. In his hour of tribulation, he needed his closest friend by his side. Widowed and unhappy, Ruth accompanied her mother-in-law, Naomi, back to Naomi's homeland, Judah. The two interested, sorrowing women supported one another in their common grief. Thomas A. Becket was the closest friend of Henry II of England. But when Henry made him Archbishop of Canterbury to help him in his dispute with the church, things started to go wrong. Becket took his position as head of the English church seriously, and their relationship deteriorated very rapidly, ending with Becket's murder on Christmas Day, 1170. Love and hate are very close in friendship, although Henry had his friend killed. By his public penances, he was one of the main causes of Becket's canonisation. The hermit crab. The hermit crab and the sea anemone live together in a symbiotic friendship. The crab takes an enemy to fresh feeding grounds, while the poisonous anemone helps to protect it from attack. Occasionally, their common home is shared by a third tenant, a bristleworm. Children will often choose extraordinary friends, in this case, an iguana. See, as a boy he's friends with the One of the most moving stories in the Bible is the friendship of David and Jonathan, the son of his most bitter enemy. In his lament on the death of Jonathan, who had saved his life on so many occasions, David said, I am distressed. I'll read it. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. On hearing of the illness of Frederick Delius, Eric Venby, his long life admirer, went over to France to help him. A strange friendship grew up with a sick composer dependent on the hands and eyes of his young disciple. See there. And Fenby contempt simply to be in the presence of his idol. Gavin Maxwell, a solitary man, found intense pleasure in the company of otters. Say otters. He preferred otters to people. While with their independence and vitality, a special relationship grew up. They were more than animals to him. When they died, he mourned them as friends. Yeah. You do get some eccentric people, don't you? But the conversion of Saint Eustace while hunting in the forest, his vision recurs in other saints' lives and in Asian folk tales. Human minds, seers and believers. Visions have lent energy to religions and inspiration to art, yet still defy definition. Are they real communication or communications, or are they merely delusions? See, I'll just show you a bit of the text. You can pause it on your phone, on your telly, so that you can read it. It might be easy to read it on your telly or on your phone, but see, didn't need to read any of that out, did I? So I'll just see if we can get this into focus here. So you can. I don't need to read that a bit out. You can pause it on your phone, on your telly, and read it yourself. Yeah. Let's just read this bit here. LSD is one of the most powerful and most highly publicised hallucinogenic drugs. Hallucinogenic drugs, tinged by the euphoric and mind-expanding effects which its advocates claim for it. LSD users ignore the warnings of medical scientists and psychiatrists. An acid head dances with his shadow. Hypnosis can produce hallucinations in quite ordinary people. At this demonstration, our subjects have been told they're causing a flood. Some swim for their lives, others make rescues airboys, supporting the theory that even under hypnosis, man remains true to his own character. Some mental hospitals find paintings by patients a valuable aid to diagnosis, as one done there. Here, a schizophrenic patient expresses that the sensation that his room and its contents are fluid and dissolving, a drug addict's hallucination. This type of delusion might also be experienced in advanced alcoholism. I don't think it's right. Possibly the most dramatic operation ever undertaken is in the history of surgery was a transplantation of a whole living human heart by Dr. Christian Barnard in Cape Town in 1967. Little over a year later, 100 such operations had been performed in various centres throughout the world. Some successful, others unfortunately not. Here is shown a team operating. I've already shown the illustrations anyway. I feel comfortable sitting here. suffice to say that the last article in the magazine was about transplant surgery, and for those, I don't know if I mentioned it on here before, but I'm actually an organ donor myself. But I possibly might do a live Q&A discussion on organ donation if I've not done one already. But I think I'll leave it at this point because I've reviewed as much of the magazine as what I can. I would like to have got this up to an hour, but it's not. I don't see what difference. On the back of each Book of Life magazine, there's like an ongoing encyclopedia on the back of each edition of it. So if you've got the full set of magazines, you get the full encyclopedia. So let's see if I can review a bit more of it. Oh. Let me have a read a bit of it, read the text a bit more. Let's read the text a bit more, then I can perhaps get this up to an hour's length. No one who has watched a heart recipient recover can have any of the ethical doubts that have apparently perplexed so many people. From TV gurus and learned editors, right across the spectrum to the ordinary, bewildered layman, to see a patient unable to cross a room without the most crippling pain, and to share the humiliating sense of inadequacy that his disability imparts, and then to see him, with his new heart, doing as many as 600 straight leg raisings in a row, only weeks later a new man. The ethical dilemma is not, what was it right to take that heart from that cadaver, but how can we surgeons possibly justify not performing such operations when we know how desperately they are needed, when we know that potential donor material is burned or buried several hundred times a year? How can we justify our failure to thump the table and demand for necessary facilities and organisation? There is no other ethical problem of such magnitude. No responsible surgeon will take a tissue from anyone who had the slightest chance of survival or even revival into a totally vegetable existence. In fact, if there is any doubt whether a person is dead beyond revival, he simply is not considered as a potential donor. And even when a patient is so considered, he must be guaranteed 4 basic rights. He must die with dignity. He must not be kept artificially alive in a living tissue bank. His death must not be timed for the recipient's benefit, and the openings necessary to the removal of tissue must be revealed and, if so desired, cosmetically hidden. No difficulty applying each of such rules, for they accord with everything he has ever learned. So that's basically it, really. That's the back of it, and that's the front. So it's like I said, if you're interested in reading this particular edition of this magazine, or any of the editions that followed afterwards, or any of the other, any of the 104 editions, just look in the shopping section or Ask AI where they can be found online. I got my set of books of life online. So have you viewed just as much as I can of this? My object is not to discuss the full context of the magazine, but just to whet your appetite. So you might be interested anyway. Bye for now.